Whether you keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs, these are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brassman Reptiles.
And I'm Rob, and I'm keeping it real.
And boom, we are cruising into our 60s episodes pretty smoothly. And tonight, I'm stoked.
I'm super
for
pumped
tonight
to have this guest on tonight.
Hell yeah, we've been waiting because he was late.
No. He's a busy guy, okay?
Yeah, he's a super busy guy. No, we're super excited. We've got Ozzy Boids in the house. Let's go ahead and get him on here.
Boom! What's up,
What's
man?
up, dude?
How you doing?
Hey guys, what's up?
We're
Sorry
pumped
I'm
you
late,
on.
man. I can't believe I did that.
Man.
It's usually me that's late, so hey.
It's true. Usually I'm like, hey, Rob is eating a burrito down the road and he'll be right back. So give me 5 minutes.
I'm hungry.
Oh,
You're doing snake
man.
stuff, man. You're doing important things.
That's right. That's right. Dude, well, thank you so much for coming to hang with us, man. We really appreciate you taking the time. I've been seeing you are like going all in on content. The YouTube is rocking now. You're out here doing all these podcasts everywhere. And man, it's constant motivation coming from you. I mean, not just as another ball python enthusiast, but just as somebody who's been in the industry for so long. It's always great to see someone's longevity, and like they're not dying out. Like there's no burnout. Like I don't think about Ozzy Boids and go, oh man, yeah, he's about to be, out of it. He's been fizzling out. I'm like, dude,
every time I see
Ozzy's
something
like,
you post, I'm like,
Ozzy
God
just
damn.
Ozzy just hatched this thing that looks like a cloud that came down
In his
out of an
hand.
egg, and he's got it in his hand.
Well, on that topic, I know you reached out to me. I think it was last year, but I was starting to get burned out, not from the animals, but from the industry.
Yeah.
Because some of these, especially when you have a little success, there's always a lot of drama and fucking haters and stuff like that. So I was taking a step back, and then I was thinking about it. I think it was like earlier this year. I started thinking about it, and I was like, that would be the wrong thing to do, because I know people do enjoy the content. I remember when I started out, the content is what inspired me and kept me going. Like watching Ralph Davis, going to Ralph Davis forum, watching the stuff Kevin was putting out and Tracy Barker and the Snake Keeper and all of that. So, I decided I'm going to actually do the opposite of the way I was feeling. So that's why I'm going full bore. I still love the hobby. I mean, I'm gung ho, and I'm very, very passionate about the real estate and investing side of it too. All of that shit gets me excited. So I don't feel like I'm working at all. And I want to share that. I spent a lot of time studying those topics, and I want to share that, man, because I think it's important to do what you love every day. Best thing I did was in 2017 quit my 9-to-5. I can't believe I should have quit a long time ago. That shit sucks, So it does, man. I'm serious. It just sucks the life out of you, and I had a good job and good career, blah, blah, blah. But the day-to-day bullshit in that environment is just, it just sucks the life out of you. So, if you love reptiles, I never encourage a non-reptile person to invest in snakes and high-end snakes. Never. You'll never hear me do that. And I've even had, I have family members who they see my success and they're like, I'm going to get some snakes. And I'm like, I don't think you should.
Yeah.
And they're like, why not? It's because you're really not into it. You're not into the snakes. You're not into them.
Yeah.
So you're not going to succeed,
Yeah. And people can tell, like, when you go to expos and stuff, if you're trying to sell something that you don't really care about, something that you're not like into, like when people go to your table and they talk to you about your super orange dreams and all this, the color and the pattern reduction and all this stuff, you can tell when you talk to you that you get excited about it, that you are like invested in this. If you go to somebody's table and they got, an axanthic pied on their table, they're like, yep, that's an axanthic pied. Either you're going to buy it or you're not. You don't want to buy from them. Like most people are not going to want to buy from them. And it can make the difference between actually being able to make that living and being able to be successful at it. And then some guys who are just, just scraping by, just barely making their bills.
Yep, exactly, man. It's all about the passion. I mean, I've been cleaning snake shit for 21 years now, straight, I mean, think about it. I've been feeding every week. I've been cleaning water bowls every week. And I don't hire, I've had people help. I have my nephew helping me out or whatever, but I don't like hiring that out. I like to do it myself. Because when I'm in the snake room, like I'm in a zone, and when I'm opening tubs, I'm looking at this snake and it's like, it's triggering something in my head. Like, man, I need to put this gene with that combo of genes.
Yeah.
So, it's just it's a process, and my success is 100% is due to my passion for it. The love that I have for it,
For sure.
So the people who are in it, I want to put more content out and just more like around mindset and, the strategic approach, and it's okay to make money breeding snakes, there's nothing wrong with that. Like get rid of all of those self-limiting bullshit beliefs around money and, I just do it for the love. I mean, you can still do it for the love and still make money. Money is necessary. Yeah. If you don't have financial freedom, you don't have freedom, is the way I see it.
Yep. That's it. It's always blown me away that like the reptile industry has been that one of those few industries when, you start to make money and good, and where you can sustain yourself. People are like, oh, you're just in it for the money, you're a sellout and blah blah blah. But any other industry, if you can make a living out of it, they're like, oh man, that's awesome. That's good amazing, for you. Like I don't understand what the difference is there.
That's just a fucking broke person trying to make sense of being broke. Yeah. So, that's all there is. That's all it is. Money is a tool. It's necessary. Like you can't survive without it.
Yeah.
So if you want to work in some bullshit office job, stuck at a desk, dealing with bullshit office politics all day, it's like people will wake up and go to a job they hate their entire life and then talk about money isn't everything. Like, really? When you wake up in the morning, don't go to work, just stay home.
Yeah, if you hate it.
It's a job, right? So it's just, there's a lot of self-limiting beliefs around money and a lot of psychological bullshit and baggage that we have with money. And you need to sort that out. And this industry is great because you can make a lot of money doing it. It's the money that's in this industry is freaking insane. It blows me away. And when I sit down with my accountant and I crunch the numbers, he's like flabbergasted. He's, because he's comparing it to other businesses and he's seeing the profit margins and he was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
He's like, you should go public, I'm
buying stock in Ozzy Boids. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
That's not going to happen. But so if you love this reptile thing and you're passionate about it, and even if you have a job, maybe you have a job, you don't got to do a ton of snakes. Maybe you do 20 clutches. You do 20 clutches and generate extra 60 grand a year or whatever. That's great. Pay off the mortgage or some shit, or go buy an investment property.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's so crazy too, because we went from a lot of people. What I saw at the beginning, we were just talking about this before we started, but at the beginning of the pandemic, where everything kind of got shut down, prices on everything just went up. Like this stuff has been steadily on the incline over the last couple of years for a lot of different things, but but not for everything. There were some things that kind of stayed kind of steady. And then at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything kind of shut down, prices for just about everything went up, like almost double or like time and a half, something like that. And there's a lot of people who are like, well, I remember spending $10 on this and I don't want to spend blah, blah, blah on this. And it's like, well, that's fine. That can be your opinion. But guess what? There's 100 other people that can value that animal and value the work that's breeders put into it and value what this person's doing, especially for captive bred stuff, the stuff that you're producing, the stuff that we're producing. We put so much work and effort and time and thought and like just sweat into making these babies. And then for someone to tell you, oh, well, it's not worth that because I don't think it's worth that. It's usually broke people that don't want to spend the money on a snake that they want, you know?
Yeah. And that scarcity mindset, you know, that shit's a killer. It'll keep you broke. It'll keep you broke because you'll find the perfect snake. You'll have some adult females and you'll find a perfect male for those adult females. And these guys will be haggling over $200 and they'll walk away from, say, a $2,000 snake and they want to give you $1,800. And I'm like, nah, price is firm. And they'll walk away from it. But that $2,000 snake bred to their 3 females can make them $60,000 worth of shit.
Yeah.
So they're so focused on saving $200 that they're missing out on 60 grand. And that's that scarcity mindset. That shit will keep you broke. And, you know, and the other thing is, I notice, and you guys, you if you've been doing sales for Kevin, you probably noticed this too. Mm-hmm. You'll have a $10,000 snake, and then you have a $200 snake, right? Yeah. And a customer that buys a $10,000 snake, he'll send you a text and be like, "Hey, is this snake available?" Yep.
And they
cool.
buy it.
What's your PayPal? Bam. They won't waste any of your time. Like 1, 2, 3, 10 grand, bam, in your account.
Yeah.
And then a $200 buyer. Do you have pictures of the parents?
The belly and the
a top pick, a side pick. How much does it weigh? Blah, 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 blah. They, you know, so the difference is, and this is what I realized, the difference is, you know, people who have money and are successful, they value time.
Mm-hmm.
People who are broke value money. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference, because time is more valuable than money. And once you figure that out, the money, you know, will come to you by default.
Absolutely.
And money is a tool, man. If you have $200, you should be trying to turn it into $1,000, not trying to protect that $200, because, you know, you got to be moving forward.
That's it. I was just saying that on an Instagram story. I'm like, people, you need to realize that your time is as much of an investment into something as, you know, the $100 bill in your pocket. And if you're not aware of that, if you're not already thinking about that, you know, and you're just wasting your time scrolling through social media or whatever, you know, just commenting bullshit somewhere on TikTok or whatever, like, you're wasting all of that time that you could be putting into your project, you know, making sure you're spending the time thinking about, okay, what pairings am I doing this year? Staring at those animals, looking for stuff. Okay, how can I take it to the next level? What do I need to take it to the next level? You know,
that's why I don't go on Facebook anymore, because I just feel like, you know, it's a waste of damn time. And I don't, you know, you won't see me on any more forums. Like, you won't see me having debates. I don't do it, man. I stay away from it. I try to maximize my time every day. And I want to be as efficient as possible, and I want to accomplish my goals. And I do these podcasts and stuff like that. Initially, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just, you know, people don't appreciate whatever content you put out, but that's not true. I think a lot of people do appreciate it. A lot of people are inspired, you know, but it's easy to focus on the 2 or 3 assholes that are, you know, being negative or whatever, who are trying to, you know, just trying to hate on you for whatever reason. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm putting out the content. I want to have success you know, I want to grow, but I want other people to have success too. So, so that's what's up.
Yeah.
And I love the industry. I like to see the industry continue to grow. And without the
Absolutely.
money, without the money, we would have lost our rights years ago. You know, it's money that funds organizations like USARC and, you know, PJAC and, you know, lawsuits and stuff like that. And it's the, when they look at the industry as a whole and they see the income that it's generating and the jobs that the industry is creating, that's what will discourage those politicians from implementing
Regulations on that sort of stuff.
regulations that will hurt the industry. Because at the end of the day, all they care about is money and you know, and taxes.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Yeah, man. You gotta play the game sometimes, and that's just kind of what it boils down to. And I think that a lot of times when they look at the reptile industry, a lot of them are just looking at, well, these guys are buying and selling snakes online. They're not paying taxes. They're not thinking about the people who are buying rodent food, people who are buying wood and PVC and buying water dishes and deli cups and, you know, Aspen, and Cypress, and FedEx. Exactly. Dude, if they saw how much we spend at FedEx every year, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they understand the full scope. Like, I get that some politicians kind of know that it is a big industry and everything. I don't think that they grasp the full effect of it, the full scope of everything.
And more importantly, they don't grasp the full potential. Because the industry, the exotic pet segment of the pet industry is the fastest growing segment of the pet industry globally. So we're just scratching the surface, and it's continuing to grow. And you got new people entering the hobby, you know, and it's a great hobby because of the business aspect of it, because people are learning they're learning how to start a business, and they're learning about business, and they're learning about taxes or whatever. And all of that is stimulating the economy, you know, all the shipping. I mean, in January, we couldn't find heat packs. They ran out of heat packs.
That's wild, right? You just think about that. There's no other reason what would the other reason for the heat pack shortage be besides reptile people and fish people and like exotic animals? There's no other reason. It's not from hunters or anything like that. Like,
I think some plant people use them too. But that's it. I mean, so it's all of those little hobby based, and a lot of those are also generating new little small, you know, work from home businesses. So all of that is important, and you know, it keeps people employed when the other jobs dry up, you know. So, and that's our new economy, you know. That's where the jobs are at. That's where the future is for the economy. So let my dog in real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
Dude, this is actually exciting. I like talking about the industry side of things, because I mean, it's cool to talk about you know, people's personal experiences and stuff, but the economy we haven't done really kinda.
And I'm just saying, especially with somebody like Ozzy, who especially like recently on YouTube has really been like going hard on the industry side of stuff and the financial aspects and strategies and stuff.
Yeah, I want to put out more content, and I'm continuing to learn and grow. I joined a organization called Go Abundance recently, and it's a group of entrepreneurs, you know, tribe of millionaires. It's just like a bunch of, you know, and those guys, like, when usually if I'm out or I meet some people or whatever, and they say, "Hey, what do you do?" and I say I breed snakes, they usually like, what? Like, is that legal? You know, the typical, you know, the typical response, you know. But like around these guys just have a different mindset, and they're like, really, like, dude, that's cool as shit. Like, and then, you know, they're asking questions, you know, like business related questions, and some of them I can't even answer. Like, I'm still, for me, for a long time, for me, in my head, this was a hobby, you know. and I was like, this is just something I do on the side, and in 2017, when I quit, I was like, you know what? I started pulling up my tax returns, and I'm like, I could live very comfortably off of this income, and it keeps increasing every year, so why, I went to work the next day and I fucking quit, and
Damn.
and I was like, yeah, I'm done. It was like, oh, but your bonus is in 2 months. I'm like, keep it. I'm like, keep
Wow.
it out. Like I'm out. And it was the best thing I ever did. And so now I'm doing this full time, and now I'm starting to do the real estate. I always wanted to do the real estate. I just didn't have the time and energy, to educate myself. But now what I do when I'm in a snake room cleaning, I usually have an earbud in my ear and I'm listening to podcasts or I'm listening to audiobooks. So I'm educating myself while I'm in the snake room. And I've learned a lot about taxes and about real estate and investing, et cetera. I do a little stock, but if more snake people did that, then, a lot of us would be, achieve millionaire status, like 95% of people don't even track their net worth. That's a real simple spreadsheet. You can just start tracking it. And it's like, it's like playing a game and not keeping score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of people who are making a lot of money, but they're broke.
Mhm.
The shit is tragic, But once you become aware of it and you start tracking it, and then you're like, oh, fuck, like, and then you start taking specific actions to grow your net worth. And then you just see your net worth growing, and you see your passive income, the amount of passive income that's coming in, increasing and increasing and increasing, and that's where you want to be at,
Absolutely.
And the crazy thing is in this reptile community, we're uniquely positioned to become millionaires. Like if you follow some very basic, and it's just basically you make a little money, instead of spending it, invest it, instead of buying liabilities, buy assets, buy a piece of real estate, buy some Bitcoin, buy some stocks, something. Just stop spending it on bullshit. And even if you just take 40% of your snake money, maybe you buy a few high-end snakes to build up your collection, increase the dollar value of the stuff you're producing, and then take a little money and invest it. If you do that, man, you'll see your net worth will start to snowball.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people don't want to hear about that shit, but I know a few people. I'm going to talk about a few people who are going to listen. They're going to do it. There's already guys that I've talked to, like, about real estate investing and stuff like that, and they started looking into it. I tell them, hey, check out Bigger Pockets. They have a podcast and they interview real estate investors. Just regular people who are. Some people are flipping. Some people are buying mobile home parks. Some people are buying storage units. Whatever. Some people are starting with no money. Some people are starting with a lot of money. It doesn't matter. One thing they have in common is they all figured out a way to have massive success. So a few guys have started doing it, and I love it because they text me and like, dude, I picked up my first rental property or whatever. So if I could influence even a handful of guys, I'm gonna do it. And I'm also educating myself. It motivates me to continue to learn and grow myself and grow my portfolio. So.
Absolutely, dude. I definitely think it's a necessary conversation to have within the industry, especially when like it's certainly possible to make a living off of breeding reptiles, but I mean, to be able to situate yourself in a position where you can generate more than enough income to have that financial freedom and then not have to worry about the rest of life, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that makes it that much better, especially when it's no shocker if we're keeping all these animals. There's a little bit of added overhead that we have to deal with, electric bills, heat bills, if you're, you know, in cold temps and stuff like that, you know. So not have to worry about that, to do whatever you can do to really just put yourself like, yep, it is what it is, whatever, it's a bill paid, no worries. Like that's
huge.
That's massive.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great feeling. And it's you know, it's sad that we live in the US, we live in the richest country in the world, and we have so many people living paycheck to paycheck. This shit is tragic. And it doesn't have to be that way, you know. Fuck what the politicians say. You know, the politicians are gonna blow a bunch of smoke in your ass, smoke up your ass, and, you know, try to convince you that, oh, the system is rigged, and, you know, that's why, you know, the rich are getting richer. And no, the rich are getting richer because they invest their money. When they make a lot of money, they put it to work. They let their money work for them instead of just spending it and buying dumb shit and playing video games all day. So, you know, it's like nobody's going to influence your situation more than you. You know, if these politicians, if they forgive 10 grand of your student loan, you're still going to be broke. You know, the 10 grand ain't going to change your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, hopefully people, like, you know, wake up and starting their own businesses or whatever. You know, like I said, us in the reptile community, we're lucky because we have a viable industry that's growing like crazy every year. And if you sit down with a piece of pen and paper and do the math, the return on investment is insane. I've done it for some snakes, and it's like, you know, 650% the first year. You know, where are you going to get that?
Yeah.
You know, unless you're selling heroin or some shit, you're not going to get that.
It's meth up here, man. That's what's been going around.
So, you know, so the thing is, people focus on the price though. Like, you know, last year they were complaining, oh, I paid 10 grand for Hurricane Clown. Now there's 6,500. You know, and if somebody reading that, they were like, oh, the ball python market sucks. It was 10 grand. Now it's 6,500. Well, that 10 grand snake can make you 10 $6,500 snakes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, so again, it's mindset, and sit down with a calculator or a pen and paper or whatever, however you do math. Or if you can't count, take it to your CPA and let them crunch the numbers. I'm serious. It's like the shit. And then you hear people say, oh, you can't make money. And I'm like, that's not true, man. That's bullshit. Like, you know, you can make money. You can make money. But you can't, if you make that money and you just spend it on dumb shit, you know, some of these guys, you know, I have no problem going to the strip club and partying, but some of these guys go to the strip club and get crazy. And they make 10 G's at the show, and now they're, you know, and they go to the strip club and, you know, they spend 8.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it was a
like
good couple. It was a good few hours, bro.
I don't know, $8,000 for memories.
A few hours.
I don't know.
You know.
Yeah, it was fun, but then don't blame the snake industry. I mean, you made 10 grand.
True.
You blew 8.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of times too, we got to learn to control. As reptile people, we're kind of hoarders. You know, I've had this conversation with Kev. You know, a lot of times, you know, because, you know, you make 10 grand and we've all done it. You know, you make 10 grand and you're like, I'm not going to buy any snakes. I'm not going to buy snakes. And the next thing you bought a $12,000 snake. So now you're down, you know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying, even if you didn't say you talked to Kev about this, we would have known.
Yeah, we would have.
Yeah, me and Kev used to have a lot of funny conversations. But so the thing is when you're buying snakes and you're building your collection, it has to be strategic. You know, it has to be strategic. Like, I sell, like, the original Orange Ring female. When I was done with her, I sold her to Mark Bailey. Like it's not sentimental for me. It's like I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a designer. I'm not a collector.
Right.
I'm a designer. So whatever's in my collection has a purpose from a breeding standpoint. So everything that I do is very, very strategic. And again, like that video I did the other day where I kind of measure, I'm always upgrading my genetics and I'm always measuring, because if you're not measuring, you can't really gauge your performance and make adjustments. So yeah, my goal is always to step it up and, make sure I'm making something new and cool. I don't want to keep making the same super orange dream every year for the next 10 years. I mean, that, it's no fun, but it's also not a very good business plan.
Yeah. Yeah. That concept of upgrading, because I checked out that video and I had to chuckle to myself because I'm like, man, how many people are listening to him say, I sell adult proven females every year and are going, Ozzy's crazy as shit, man.
Yep.
I wouldn't do that,
Ian,
but it's real, man.
Yeah, Ian used to think I was crazy. And then he came to me one day. He was like, I used to think you're crazy. I when you were selling those het ghost big breeder females and he was buying all that shit up. He was like, I kind of see what you're doing now. And again, it's like I'm keeping my collection right at my sweet spot where I'm not getting burned out. I'm still enjoying it. I'm doing the same 50 clutches a year, but every year my 50 clutches are worth a little bit more. So I'm actually increasing my income without, killing my passion.
Yeah.
So
and that's key. That really is key, man. Because so many people are just they have that hoarding mentality, and they go from that, 50, 60 females to 120 females or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're like, and then they're like, I'm exhausted.
I talk to guys and I talk to a lot of guys, different size collections. And I know guys who have 300 breeder females and they make 150 or 100 clutches from 300 breeder females. And then other guys with 150 females that do 100 clutches. and if you sit down and you calculate it, you'll see what I'm talking about. I was just talking to Corey DeLong earlier about this, but as your collection grows, the success rate for your females, like if when I used to have 20 females, I used to get like 80-90% of the females to go. And as my collection goes, it drops down to 70%, 60%, 50%. So as your collection grows, the success rate in those females, it declines. You guys think I'm lying? Go look at your numbers. Go look back, look at your numbers and do the math and you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's true across multiple locations, different breeders, different collections. It's true. So, it's key to find that sweet spot where you're operating very efficiently and then stay there and just upgrade, get better genetics. My dog is making an appearance here.
That is not a reptile.
Yeah, he doesn't like when I ignore him for too long. But
What kind of dog is that?
he's a German short hair pointer.
Okay, very cool.
He's like, wait, what?
Hey, you guys have cicadas? You guys probably don't have any cicadas up there.
Not the 17-year ones or whatever it is.
No.
Yeah,
Brood-X.
they're everywhere down here, and he's been eating them like crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Now he's like looking up at the ceiling. He's like looking for one.
Yeah. You're like, what's that? He's like, another one?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
No, this is all awesome stuff, man. And again, I think it's great that you're taking that initiative to put the content out there, and hopefully it's taken the blinders off of a lot of people's eyes as they try to develop, their collection or think about really starting a business, and maybe it gives them that little spark to be like, you know what, let me just go through my collection and see, and maybe I don't need those extra 2 or 3 snakes and whatever, because that gives me a space to, maybe hold on to something that's a little better and raise it up and do whatever, and then not feel so under the gun.
Yeah, and maybe like I know a lot of people struggle with finding feeders. Now you have 1 or 2 less mouths to feed, so you could be more productive. And again, I think the reason why we haven't had a crash for so long and why the industry has been so strong is because I think people are not mass producing anymore. People are being very specific about what they're trying to produce, and they're trying to produce designers that take a lot longer to make. So, instead of like back in the day, people would, they'll get an ultrasound in a male banana and try to, breed that male to 20 females.
Yeah.
Now, then all of a sudden we got, 3,000 bananas on the market. So I don't think people are doing that anymore. So I think that's kept the industry strong. But yeah, it's a crazy industry. And you look at like Freedom Breeder, I've been ordering cages, man, and they're swamped. I mean, it's taken 4 months, 4 or 5 months to get your cages. And same with ARS, same with Sea Serpents. I mean, they're running out of material,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of the cage builders haven't been able to get PVC recently. Like literally, they're trying to get pallets and they can't even get pallets. They can get a couple sheets here and a couple sheets there, and it's been tough.
Yeah, that's that's all related to all of the money that they flooded into the economy. That's going to lead to inflation because manufacturers, if it's just like snakes. I remember when we were selling orange ghost females, I would put them up for $2,500, and in 2 hours sold. That's what I did. I raised the price to 3,000. And then they were still selling in 2-3 hours. So when companies can't keep up with the demand, naturally they're just going to start jacking up the prices. And that's what we're seeing now. I got 12 racks from Freedom Breeder last year. 2020, and it was like $2,500 shipping. A year later in March, I got another 12 racks. It was $6,000.
Damn.
And then like 2 months later, it was like 60. It actually was like 7,500, but I went with rail. I used rail and I got it down to 6,400. So that's inflation. The trucking companies, they can't find drivers. Whether they're staying home collecting unemployment, or I don't know, maybe they're selling snakes online. I don't know.
Right.
They can't find drivers. I don't, So it's gonna jack. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing prices. I think the cage manufacturers are starting to jack up prices. So that's a perfect example. Obviously, we could use more cage builders.
Yeah.
The rodents. Obviously, if somebody can figure out how to supply the industry with rodents, then they can make a lot of money. I mean, that's rodents are tough. Don't get me wrong, but huge it's
demand.
A viable business.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, like, man, imagine, as horrible as it would be, if some piece of legislation went through. We couldn't breed or sell snakes anymore. What's the one thing everybody would still need? Feeders.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, no matter what happens, we got to feed our stuff. So
I think if they tried to ban it, it would just go underground. I mean,
of course. Yeah.
I remember when we couldn't ship snakes through UPS and FedEx. What did we do? We ship snakes through UPS and FedEx.
Yep, exactly.
We were still shipping them. We were still shipping them in unmarked boxes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, we were using Delta Dash too and driving to the airports, but a lot of people were still shipping And people were even shipping through the postal,
Postal service. Yeah.
I've had someone recently do that. Like within the last couple of years, I had somebody send us a snake to Nerd through the USPS, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. There's no need
Oh,
for that. There's no need for that anymore. But
No.
like, yeah, UPS never, and I think UPS, I think the Bells ship or they used to ship, like they had authorization to ship animals through UPS.
you can do lizards
and
and
turtles.
huh?
Tortoises.
Turtles.
Turtles and inverts, as long as they're not venomous. You can do any of that stuff through UPS.
Just
We
no
always get
snakes.
we always get UPS representatives that contact Nerd, and they're like, "Hey, so I saw that you ship with FedEx," and I'm like, "We ship out too many snakes to work with you. Sorry, unless you
Yeah.
guys are gonna give us an exemption." They're like, "Hold on, let me look it up." Oh no, we can't do that. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unions have them handcuffed.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
they can't make, smart business decisions. Because and FedEx is cleaning up.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
the number, every time I go to FedEx and I drop off boxes and I always see live, shipments.
Yep.
Mhm.
A whole bunch of people.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know,
And
man.
it's crazy because FedEx was suffering going into the pandemic because they lost all of that Amazon. When Amazon launched their own fleet, they lost a lot of business. And I mean, their stock was down to like $95. Me and Jesse bought that stock. And
Wow.
and because I was going to FedEx, like we're going FedEx 2-3 times a week, shipping a ton of snakes, and they were swamped. And I was looking at their stock price, and their stock price dropped down below 100, and I pounced on it. I bought it. I told Jesse bought some, and then it shot up, and
Damn.
we sold it. We sold it too early, man. I think we sold it at like 170, 180. We were like, yeah, we made 70%. And now it's like $300. I mean, we should have just held on to it. Could have made a 200% return on your money. But that's the perfect example. Like if even if you're taking 20 or 30 grand, you've been doing this for 10 years and you've been taking 20, 30 grand and buying Tesla and Netflix and Amazon, I mean, or some Bitcoin, where would you be now? I mean, you'd be set, Yeah. Me personally, I love real estate. I think real estate is crazy. Like the way, basically where real estate is like this, you're basically making money with other people's money, right? You buy a piece of real estate and you put down 20%, right? And say you're making a 10% return on that real estate. So you put down 20%, you're making 10% on your 20%, but then the other 80%, you're borrowing it at a 3% interest rate, but you're making 10%. So now you're making 7% on somebody else's money. And that's the leverage piece of real estate. And then from a tax standpoint, it's like low taxes. So then you're getting a tax break, you're getting that cash flow, making money on somebody else's money, and then you're paying off that mortgage. Then you got the appreciation. So you're like making money from like so many different directions. And if you keep doing that consistently, like if you have a kid, for instance, you can just buy a little condo or a townhouse, right? Then rent that out. And then when your kid is ready to go to college, you just refinance a lot of money, right?
Yep. There you go.
And real estate is also a hedge against inflation because we're experiencing like a 5% inflation right now, which is pretty high. That means your money sitting in the bank is decreasing by 5% every year. That shit is crazy. Like think about that. Because the buying power of your dollar is decreasing. But if you buy real estate, you borrow it at today's value, and then you're paying it back with cheaper dollars. So if you borrow 200 grand piece of real estate and it's going down, the value of the dollar is going down 5% every year, in 10 years, that 200 grand is worth a lot less. Right? It's like 50% less.
Yeah.
So you're paying it back with, cheaper dollars. And then when there's inflation, the cost of real estate is going to go up. So you're paying it back with cheaper dollars, and then the value is going to shoot through the roof. You know what I mean? So so people need to learn about it. It's not rocket science. It's, I'm no genius. I'm a common sense kind of practical kind of guy. So if I can figure it out, other people can figure it out too. And if people just start buying, once a year, you make 60 grand, take 20 grand, invest it, party like a rock star with the other 40.
Buy some new racks, buy some new cages,
or go to the strip club.
No.
He said like a rock star, man.
I guess, dude. I just went a couple weeks ago. We went on a field herping trip out in Southwest Utah, but we flew into Vegas and then drove from Vegas up to Utah. But when we were driving through Vegas, one of my friends a couple weeks before posted a picture of the strip club, and outside it says thousands of beautiful girls and 3 ugly ones. And I was like, okay, I have a morbid curiosity. I need to see what's going on here.
That's how they get you.
The best part was you go in there and you ask the girls, you go, okay, now which 3 are the ugly ones? You can tell who doesn't like each other.
There's always some of that cattiness going on. It's funny.
Oh, that's good.
Oh man.
Yeah, the funny thing is the only time I'll go to a strip club is when I go to a snake show.
Yep. It goes together.
Probably,
come on. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Come on.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Oh, man.
You see this?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Go. Cicada.
For everyone who's just listening on the audio, his wife just came in and he told her, no, I'm just kidding. That's his dog. I'm just kidding.
Oh man. I'm single now, but I used to tell my lady, she's like, what did you guys do? I went to the strip club.
Yep.
She was like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's a business. I gotta,
it's a business
meeting.
That's
whining and dining. That's whining and dining,
Gotta network, yeah. So it's it's a business thing. And it's true, man. We go out, we have a good time. I mean, we go get steaks or whatever, and then it's always a lot of fun.
Oh, that's too good.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. Okay, so we can't do this podcast and not talk about what the hell you're producing.
Yeah, what the hell, dude? Holy
we have to, because the axanthic pied whatever nonsense here to coin a Kevin term silliness you have going on over there. Like, dude, I mean, it's no shock to anybody that's listening now or listening on the audio version only that man, when you say you're a designer, I mean, that's truer words were never spoken.
Armani.
I mean, yeah. So what's happening over there with the ball pythons, man? Because you're making some shit that just I have to stare at it. Like I go on a break just to stare.
Well, it's been man, it's a lot of fun. I'm just gonna tell, like, I love doing this, and every year, like I was talking to Justin the other night, and he was saying, he was like, man, he's like every year it's like it just keeps getting better and better. And it's true. It's like the combo potential, it's really limitless. So I just, again, what I do is when I hatch stuff out, the best stuff I keep. I don't keep it all, but I keep the most powerful stuff. And if I produce, at most I'll keep 2 males of a crazy combo.
Yeah.
Because how males are. Sometimes one doesn't want to breed or whatever. So I like to have 2, but my space is limited. So, I could easily go out and buy more racks, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I keep the best, the cream of the crop, and then I sell the rest. Um, and then I just raised that stuff up. And when I put that stuff together, man, it's like it's magical. The stuff that's popping out. So that pied, the first pied that I produced, I think the one I put up last night, I think that's an Orange Dream, Fire, Enchi, Leopard, Axanthic pie. And that's just insane. And
Right?
it's a beautiful animal. And Mark Mandic was the one that inspired that project because I went up to Toronto a few years ago, and he had an um, Orange Dream Fire Lightning Pied. And that just I was like, dude, I never even thought I didn't even consider adding Orange Dream to Axanthic.
Right?
And and Mark's always been a big fan of Orange Dream, and he was like, "Man, Orange Dream goes good with everything." And it had like a desert ghost effect with the Axanthic. So I was like, "Holy shit!" So it just it's like little things like that. It'll click, and then I went home, and that year I started that project.
Hell yeah.
And so again, it's like, there are combos out there that we haven't even considered yet, that we haven't even thought about. And sometimes when you'll see like a couple of genes come together, and then it'll trigger, something in your head. But the other thing is the leopard and the pied. A lot of people were sleeping on the leopard pied stuff. But I think the leopard really adds a very unique dynamic to the pied, and it does. You guys have seen all those crazy patterns, and
Yeah.
it's just like you're not a typical pied. And like if you go look on my, my page, you'll see everything has leopard. My Desert Ghost pied stuff, leopard. My Super Orange Dream pied stuff has leopard. That working on the Super Orange Dream hypopide stuff, I'm getting leopard into that too. So the leopard just really, when you start stacking genes on top of it with leopard, it does a lot of little like crazy oddball things. So and then again, I've been producing a lot of high white Enchi pieds, and a lot of people always thought Enchi pieds are low white, but and I post animals, and people are like, "That's not Enchi, it's mid white." I'm like, "Well, no."
I don't know what to tell you, but
Yeah,
dude at the strip club told me it was Enchi pie.
Yeah, come to the strip club, buy a bottle, and we'll discuss it. But if you stack Orange Dream and Fire and Yellow Belly and all of that, once you start stacking all those genes on there, it does some really, really unusual things. And I know it can counteract like fire pieds are very high white. But when you start adding Enchi and Orange Dream, it could counteract that too. So so I'm over here having a blast with it. And again, I do spend a lot of time, on my breeding plan and on my breeding plan and and looking at my animals and trying to figure out and how to maximize my breeding plan and my output. I try to avoid redundancy. People see my output, and they think I have like I'm doing 300 clutches or something. And when I tell them I just did 70 clutches or 60 clutches, they're shocked. But it's because I don't have a lot of redundancy in my collection. I'm not going to produce 20 Desert Ghost Pied clutches. That's just not my MO. I'd rather mix it up and have like a lot of variety. So I got some cool stuff pipping now. So it's gonna be fun. I think I'm at like clutch. I don't know like what hatch, like clutch 15 or something. So, and I think I'm gonna do 80 this year.
Cool.
Yeah, solid. So. That's still a solid number of clutches, man. 80
Oh,
clutches.
it's plenty, man. It's plenty. And like, again, like I said, some of those clutches are, $30,000-$40,000 clutches. That's plenty. Yeah. I could I could party a little bit on that.
I was gonna say this one goes into stocks. This one's for the strip club. This one's for the stocks.
Yeah.
Real estate.
But I'm trying to I'm really trying to like just build my real estate portfolio. Because I really like that passive income. And in retirement, it'll be nice to have a nice fat portfolio. And then when I pass, it'd be nice to be able to leave that to my kids.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. For sure.
Yeah, man.
Forward thinking. I think that really is the key to it all, man. You got to be looking ahead and planning ahead. Otherwise,
definitely. Yeah. And and you could like, I'm having a blast. It's not like I'm working in a coal mine or something. I'm having a good time while I'm doing it, while I'm, trying to leave a legacy for my kids and hopefully if I have grandkids, to benefit them. Again, I tell my daughters, like, what I'm trying to give them is freedom to do what they want. Like, if they want to be a school teacher, school teachers don't make a lot of money, but if you don't got to worry about money, you could be a school teacher,
Yep.
Or, you want to be a hippie, be a hippie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not judging my kids. I just want them. I want to give them freedom, man. I want them to do whatever they want to do.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Man, could you imagine that? A rich ass hippie?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you an Ozzy hippie. That's
I try to
at every festival.
Yeah. I teach them to work. I mean, I make them work, I teach them a work ethic. I'm not a big fan of lazy people. So do something, if you, find something you love and, stay active and, work hard and, don't just sit around, playing video games or whatever. I don't support that, but, I'm actually going to be doing a video about that. Cause I actually hired my kids. So I pay my kids. And there's some really good tax benefits around that. I don't know if you guys know about that, but you could pay your kids up to $12,000 a year, and it's a tax write-off for your business, but they don't have to pay taxes.
Wow.
So they get $12,000 a year tax free. Yeah. And then what you do is you set up a Roth IRA for them. And my kids are 12 and 16. So if I start saving for their retirement now.
Oh yeah, they are set.
By the time
they're so
40,
set.
they get to retire.
Yeah.
So I told them, you guys got to work, and they cleaning tubs or whatever, but making shipping boxes, sweeping, whatever, and put $6,000 away for them a year, and then they got to do 5% towards charity. So they got to pick a charity, 5% towards a charity, and then the rest, I don't care what they do with it. They want to buy Roblox gift cards, whatever. You know what I mean? So if they get in the habit of saving and investing 50% of everything they make, they'll be set. Like,
True.
And with the Roth IRA, what I want to do with them is I want to teach them how to invest. So I want them to buy companies like, they watch Netflix every day, maybe you want to own Netflix. I don't know. Actually, Roblox went public recently.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They went public recently. And that's a very good business. Like, they're making a lot of money. And my daughter, she's always playing that shit. So, maybe I'll get her to buy some Roblox, because some of these companies, like if they would have bought Netflix back in the day, or Tesla, whatever, they would be sitting comfortable right now.
True. Oh man. Okay, so we're rounding out our time here. But
All right.
before we end this, we ask all of our guests one final question. So, Ozzy, that question is, why don't you have any corn snakes?
No,
That's not what the
no.
question is. No. So the question is, what in the realm of reptiles, be it something in your own collection, something that you see online, or anything like that, what in the realm of reptiles has you excited about reptiles?
I love the growth, like the global. I love seeing it grow globally. So that's got me really, really excited. I love seeing a lot of people. There's a lot of people having a lot of success in it. I love seeing guys coming up and building their collections and, starting from scratch and doing really, really well. That excites me, man. It just, it's been so good to me. I'd like to see it to continue to grow and flourish,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to see other people, have the same success that I've had with it,
Hell yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really changed my life.
Do you export?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I just sent a bunch of animals yesterday. Shipped a bunch of animals going to Indonesia. So it's taken off everywhere, man. And I did last week. I did an interview with the guys in South Korea.
That's
Park
awesome.
and Young and all those guys. And like when I was consulting, I was over there, and they would pick me up and take me out,
Mm-hmm.
and that was an experience, and that was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy, man. Listening to Korean rap,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, and when I travel, like, I always reach out to people, and there's snake people everywhere, man. And I have customers everywhere. So it's really, really cool. Like I want to go to Indonesia. There's guys in South Africa. I mean, there's reptile people everywhere, man. And they're cool as shit, and they'll pick you up and take you out. Like, so, I mean, how cool is that? What other industry compares? I just,
True.
No other industry compares.
So true.
So that's what excites me, man. Just the global growth and expansion.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, man. So I feel like everybody already knows where they can find you, but tell the people who might not know, who've been living under a rock for the last however many years, where they can find what you're doing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just check out just look for @Ozzy Boids on Instagram, Facebook. And we're stepping up the YouTube game after. I think my last YouTube video was with the garbage bag. Like I was showing off some orange dreams and I needed a background and I used the garbage bag. Ask Kevin about that.
Oh boy.
Because he called me, he was cursing me out. He was like, dude, really? A garbage bag? He was like, you have those nice snakes and you got a garbage bag?
Hey man, he doesn't have much to say, man. For the first, I don't know how many years of his YouTube, all we knew was his hand. Nobody knew what Kevin looked like. It was just his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way too, man. I was, But yeah, so I'm gonna continue to try to put out content. And again, it's just trying to create some excitement and inspiring people. And hopefully we could all get rich doing this and have a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah, dude.
All right, man.
And then the politicians really can't touch us.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey.
Get fucked.
Right?
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah, we really appreciate
appreciate
it, dude.
It's been very
Yeah, it was fun, man. Yeah. Sorry about the delay. I owe you guys one.
No worries, man. No worries.
All right. Good night, fellas.
Take care.
All right, bye.